It's Sunday at the Curragh. We're going to race through these because we don't have jockey bookings yet, but we know who is pretty much going to be lining up. The Bar 1 Racing Flying 5 Stakes. Betting as we're recording with Jeff Banks Bet is Bradsell 5-4 favourite. He was really, really good the last day, but he has been disappointing on his 2 previous visits to the Curragh, so no thanks. Believing 5-2, yes please. Beckenor Forte, if he does rock up after disappointing me last week, but he ran okay. A 10-1 shot, Moss Tucker is the same price. Peter, the Flying 5, look, this should just be march for export straight away. So which of the 2 British horses at the top of the betting is going to come out on top?
Well, originally I was going to go for Bradsell, but when I looked into it more deeply, you have to go for Believing.
Yeah.
He's got, what, 3/4 of a length to make up with Bradsell, but he was cut, Bradsell was drawn at the right part of the track. That week in York, the draw just ruined races, basically. If you weren't drawn, I think it was low. If you weren't, was it low? It was low, wasn't it? In York, it wasn't high. The
advantage was to be on.
The low, yeah. If you weren't drawn low, you could basically go home unless you got a super ride. And he was only beaten 3/4 of a length, and he was flying home. And as you touched, that Bradsell has been twice to the Curragh, disappointed twice. Now, albeit one of those disappointments, I think the race was lost at the stalls, so you could put a line through that.
Fair point.
But it's hard. It's hard to back him at 5-4 when Believing only has 3/4 of a length to make up on him. The draw was massive that day at York. Just alone in that, I'd fancy Believing to turn it around. Plus the fact that, as well as that, Bradsell is disappointed in his 2 runs at the Curragh. So I'd have to favour Believing. I think Believing will take beating in this race, and I think he'll win.
I completely agree. Andy?
Yeah, 100%. Look, track form with the none-thought winner, Brad. So it's got to be a worry at 5-4, whatever it is, 11-8. I think you'd be a little bit mad piling in at that price. And as you say, Believing ran a blinder really from the high draw there. Probably would have won actually. In a few more strides and course winner as well, Believing. Which can't be said the same about Bradsell. So of those 2, yeah, definitely with the George Barry horse. But if it runs, obviously we don't know yet the decks. Buccaneer 40. It was 6th last week in the Sprint Cup. It actually ran all right, didn't it? It was a bit of a layoff there as well. So you've got the old bounce factor possibly kicking in here. But loves the track, doesn't it? It's won here 3 times, I think, and I think the only time it hasn't is when it ran over 7 furlongs. So drop back to 5 furlongs will suit. Lightly raced this season. So I think those 2, obviously last year's winner, Moss Tucker, little mention to that one as well, but I think the ground would probably need to get a little bit softer over the weekend for that one to be considered. So yeah, I think the main shout is probably just lay Bradsell and then just go from there if it's going to be that kind of price, 11-8 or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I'm very, very sweet on Believing. I spoke to George Bowie a few months ago, and he was basically working backwards from that race. So it did wonders to get as close as she did at York the last day. I'm pretty confident she'll go and win. The 7 furlong, blah, 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 if I could use my mouth words correctly, the 7 furlong Moyglare Stakes. There we go. Bedtime Story is the 11-8 on favourite. Wildly impressive at Royal Ascot. It hasn't been as impressive since. I talked to Sarah Lynham about this off air. I kind of feel like they're still trying to teach her how to be a proper racehorse. She's a Frankel out of Mecca's Angel. They learned as they went with content, and they have all of that information. They're just trying to apply it to her so that she can reach her full potential. But maybe she's just at war in her mind. Like, her mother was an exceptional sprinter. Her father was an exceptional miler, 10 furlong horse. She just seems to want to go super fast now. And I think Ryan is trying to tell her, no, you have to hold that speed and go when I tell you to, and not until then. Because for as good as she was at Royal Ascot, if you keep doing those wide margin wins, Peter, you're not going to have a very long career. There's no longevity to that. So, I don't know. Maybe she's not as good as she looked that day, but I think she is, and I think she will win this.
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to watching this race because I rate Red Letter very highly, and of course we all rate Bedtime Story very highly. Yeah, Yeah, a bedtime story. I had her marked down after her first win. She was very impressive that day. She hit the line very strong. There was a lot more to come, as you could see. But of course, what she did in Ascot, in Royal Ascot, nobody expected her to put in a performance like that. That was just insane. And that was without even Ryan having to use his whip at all, just hands and heels.
Yeah.
And she took off. Yeah, it's very interesting how they're campaigning her. I mean, you don't often see this with Aidan O'Brien with a horse that's won 9.5 lengths at Ascot, that they're trying, because it's obvious they're trying to teach her. It's obvious the way she's been ridden, especially the last run. Ryan rode her to teach her. And it's very interesting because that must mean that they think there's a lot more to come for them to do that, which is actually frightening if you think about it. Because she, as I said, was impressive at Leopardstown, and then she showed her true colours at Ascot. And then after that, they've ran her twice. In races they probably wouldn't normally have ran a horse like this. So they're trying to educate her mind, obviously. And whilst the last time she only won by half a length, that was on purpose, I feel. Ryan, as you said, was trying to teach her. And they were probably using, as I mentioned earlier on in the show, that O'Brien's kind of using the track to train his horses and teach his horses. And that's what he's been doing with Bedtime Story, which, is a bit weird considering she won by 9.5 lengths at Ascot. I can't go against her. I just can't go against her. I do think a lot of Red Letter, but yeah, a Bedtime Story first, Red Letter second, goodbye to the rest. You have to give Simmering a chance as well. You can't rule, she brings good form into the race. You can't rule her out, but I think these are two very, very, very good fillies. And yeah, I'll be doing the forecast Bedtime Story to beat Red Letter, and I think it'll come up.
Yeah, I agree. I thought there was talk that they might put Red Letter away for next year, but it's great that she's out, and Geraldines has got a really exciting team of juveniles as well. That being said, Aidan O'Brien has a ridiculously exciting team of juveniles and an exceptional amount of strength and depth with his fillies. And if Lake Victoria takes up this engagement, I know she has form to reverse with Red Letter, but I'd be pretty confident, Andy, that if she rocks up here, Aidan will have the 1-2. But I suspect Filly's Mile might be more her thing. She's already run at Newmarket. Andy, is Bedtime Story just a way and gone?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she's obviously got a bit to prove after last time. I think, what was it, 1-16 or something stupid the last twice, and he sort of scrambled home. But go back to the Ascot run, and visually very impressive there. So yes, bit to prove, but it's like a question mark over beating the same horse twice, in the last two runs, and you sort of think, how sort of good is that form and stuff. But this will be our biggest test. We'll see. Red Letter's obviously no mug, loves the track, course and distance winner, 2 from 2 here. Super impressive last time. So definitely going to be up to the rising grade. And I think that form's been franked as well, isn't it? With is it Bally Slippers came out and won at Ascot fairly recently, so
just last week.
That was third that day as well. So we'll see. I mean, it's sort of crunch time for Bedtime Story, isn't it? After last time, we sort of elevated herself to superstar status at Ascot, and then not that she's done anything wrong, obviously won twice since then, but the manner of the victories hasn't quite matched Ascot. So yeah, I think Bedtime Story beats Red Letter, and yeah, Simmering, as you say, no mug. It's nice to see Ollie Sangster having a nice horse here. He's on trainers' quotes as well, chaps. Just get the little trainers' quotes plug in. So get all his views each day on that site. But yeah, the worry would be, is the ground going to be soft enough? I think it was soft last time for Simmering, but it'll still be no shame in coming sort of third or fourth in this race. But yeah, Bedtime Story, Red Letter for me, 1-2.
Aidan O'Brien has won this race 3 times in the last 10 years. They were all backable prices, but if you wanted the idea that, or proof that the racing world can make fools of everybody and that we're all just kind of trying to make this up as we go along, Coolmore named 2 horses, Coolmore and Ballydoyle, in the same season. They were both very talented fillies, but you would expect that you're going to give those names to those horses. They're going to be the best fillies in the yard. Obviously, easy game. Just follow them. Minding became Aidan O'Brien's, probably his best ever filly, which is quite an amazing thing to say, given the strength and depth he's had over the years. She was in that crop of 2-year-olds, but she was given the name Minding. She came out to be an absolute superstar, probably one of Aidan's greatest ever horses. And she beat Ballydoyle, who was sent off the 5-4 favourite for the Moyglare back in 2015. So, yeah, it's not an exact science. We're all just trying to make sense of it.
He hasn't won this race either since, what, was it 2019? So he's on a barren spell, yeah. So just something to chuck in there. But, yeah, 9 winners overall. But
I'm pretty sure that Fairy Bedtime Story will be winning this race, though, and I can't wait to see Fairy Godmother in a couple of weeks in Newmarket as well. If Gerlines is listening, obviously, Ger, your horses have got outstanding chances. The Goffs Vincent O'Brien National Stakes Group 1, Henri Matisse. I like Amore City. Charlie Appleby's got a very good record in this race, but that explosive performance is coming, Peter, isn't it? And he might just show it in this from Henri Matisse.
Yeah, he'll win. I think he'll win. I don't know if it'll be explosive because I don't think he does anything in front. I think he just does enough. He relished the step up to 7 furlongs. I think for him to win his 2 races over 6 furlongs, the way he races, showed that 7 furlongs was going to improve him. And I thought he won very comfortably last time. And yeah, to be honest, he looks a certainty. As you know, there's a few this weekend that look certainties, and he looks one of them. Yeah, I'll make it short and sweet. He'll win. Simple as that. There's a few interesting ones. Again, we don't know who's going to be running yet because we don't have the decks. But you have to respect Charlie Appleby's horse. But I'd be surprised if Henri Matisse doesn't have him covered. Hill Road won a barrier trial and then hacked up by 5 lengths at the Curragh at Leopardstown. So he could be anything. But yeah. I can't see how Henri Matisse doesn't win this race. He'll travel well, he'll quick, and he'll go to the front. He'll probably win by about a length to length and a half, I'd say. He won't win by too far.
How far, Andy?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Henri Matisse will win. O'Brien's on 12 winners in this race. He's only 3 behind Vincent. So they might have to rename.
Extraordinary. What age is Aidan O'Brien? 58?
Yeah.
That's I don't know, phenomenal.
Yeah. So yeah, it's 15 wins for Vincent O'Brien is unreal, and he probably thought that would never even be beaten. But yeah, he's only if he wins this one with Henri Matisse, he'll get up to 13 within 2 of equaling. So it's probably not going to be long, is it? Let's be honest. 3-3 at the Curragh. Looked a little bit green last time, let's be honest. But I think, as you said, Peter, the step up and trip, the extra furlong is going to help. Ryan, I think, taught the horse quite a lot last time.
He's 54!
54?
Jesus Christ! How has he achieved so much in life and I've achieved so little? My God!
There's still time, Emmet. Come on. Go and buy a horse. Go on. But yeah, Amore City, Buick's probably going to jet back from Canada to ride this one if it does get declared. Obviously, we're recording this with the final decks not totally out. One of the Lennox, was it last time at Goodwood, beat that Wolf of Badenoch, which we've already talked about. So we'll know if that form has been franked by the time this race comes around, because the Wolf is running in the Champagne Stakes, isn't it, on Saturday at Donny. So. But yeah, regardless of that, even if that horse, the Palmer horse, does win, I think that it's still not going to be good enough to beat Henry here. It's going to be Henry to beat Godolphin. 1-2, fairly obvious call here, I think. And yeah, this could be another O'Brien superstar that we're going to look out for next season. There's a lot of them.
I have a feeling Aidan O'Brien is going to have an insanely big weekend, and that's just keep it simple, stupid. Henri Matisse goes and wins, as does Kyprios. But by how far? I mean, he just wins, doesn't he?
Does he?
Okay, yes. Andy. All right, Andy. Tell us how Givolotto is going to beat Kyprios in the Irish St. Ledger.
I don't know. He was beaten last year in the St. Ledger.
It was his first run back and he'd almost died.
It was, yeah. Obviously, there was some excuses last year, and he's come back this year flying 4 from 4, Ascot Gold Cup, Goodwood Cup last time out. Yeah, has won over this trip this season as well at Leopardstown and Navan. But that would be the sort of, if you want to pick holes and look for an angle to get Kyprios beat, for me, it would just be, I don't know, just be the ground, the quicker ground, back and trip. We all know he's an out-and-out stayer, let's be honest. But, this is coming back down in trip, and he's taking on a fairly serious rival, isn't he, in GF Lotto, who I think we can all agree will have more pace. It's just whether it gets into it will just depend whether it gets into a ding-dong battle at the end, and then there probably only will be one winner in Kyprios if it gets into a staying fight. But it's been super impressive, isn't it? The Botty horse winning the Princess of Wales at Newmarket, and also the Yorkshire Cup this season. Beat Vauban, frank that form. And I mean, I don't know if the other O'Brien horse is going. Is it last year's Ledger winner, Continuous?
Oh, I hope not.
No, I don't know.
I hope not, because if he rocked up to this race, that actually would make me, oh shit.
Yeah, well, but so that's the only thing. I mean, there isn't a lot of sort of ammo against Kyprios. If it is going to get beaten, it's probably only going to be one horse that does it, which is the Botty horse, GF Velotto. But I don't know, I just think that more speed over this trip on this ground has been vulnerable in this race before. That at the prices, I'm gonna go with the British Raider here.
Okay,
you don't agree, Emmet?
No, you're wrong. This weather is schizophrenic. It's unbelievable. So earlier on today, like we have raced between it lashes rain and then it's back to beautiful sunshine again. It lashes rain, it's back to beautiful sunshine again. The going at the Curragh right now is good. Kyprios has raced 6 times on good ground and won all 6. He's raced twice on good to firm and won both. The only time he's been vulnerable is good to soft ground, and yet he's unbeaten in 2 starts on heavy. So there's probably mitigating circumstances as to why he was beaten in those good to soft grounds races. But essentially, ground's no issue to this horse. Trip is no issue to this horse. And unlike last year, when it was his first run of the season, and it took the reigning St. Ledger winner to beat him after he'd almost died. Safe flight back from Canada, Oisin Murphy. I hope you've won in North America, because you ain't winning this. Kyprios is going to crush them. Peter.
Yeah, it's like, been there, done that for me. I see no reason to take him on. I was against him after he came back from, as you said, he nearly died, and what Aidan O'Brien's done with him. As an owner and breeder of horses, I know when horses get very, very badly injured, sick, this and that, sometimes you never get them back. And what Aidan O'Brien has done with this horse to gradually get this horse back, and you could argue nearly as good as ever, is just absolutely remarkable. And Andy has a point. Going back to 1 mile and 6 as the horse is getting older is not ideal. But look, Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien know this. This is a track that, there's no combination better than these two. They're going to have other horses in it to set the race up for him. Yeah, he wins, but no doubt in my mind he'll win.
Is just as you mentioned the tactics, is there anything that would worry you about that?
No, there's nothing. I mean, we don't know the final deck, so we can only go by what we're seeing here. They're gonna. I don't know who else they're going to run, but they will run another horse. I can't really see or think they'd run Continuous. So I imagine Point Lonsdale will probably be the other one they'll run, and he could be there to make sure that it tees up perfectly for Kyprios. Yeah, Vauban, he's going back to this trip, which would suit him better. I can see the point Andy's making for the body horse. I just think Kyprios wins. I've seen it so many times, and I think it's just going to be another victory. How easy it will be, I don't know, but yeah, him and Henry Matisse look like good things. And there's others as well, but those two that we just mentioned.
And a nap double.
No, it'll be more than a double, Andy. A double's too easy.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet, where tradition meets cutting-edge technology, and with major flat racing festivals on the horizon and the new jump season about to kick off properly, it's time to leave behind the corporate bookmakers who don't value your loyalty. At this point, you've got to be fed up of their restrictions, endless affordability checks, and losing out on incentives just because you dare to win a bet. Jeff is the bookmaker fighting for your right to bet, giving you the freedom to enjoy British and Irish racing the way it should be, and you can watch all that racing on the Jeff Banks Bet app. So say goodbye to bookies who want you to lose your hard-earned money on their online casinos, and say yes to unbeatable odds and a bookmaker that truly values your custom, Jeff Banks Bet. Final Furlong podcast listeners who sign up to Jeff Banks online using the promo code FFP500 can get 10% of any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting, up to £500. It's an offer you won't see anywhere else. Visit jeffbanks.bet today and enter promo code FFP500 and join the excitement. That's jeffbanks.bet using promo code FFP500, because your betting experience deserves more. Bedtime Story, Henri Matisse, Kyprios, treble.
Yeah, well, the O'Brien ones, yeah, those three should win. Yeah, those three look good, to be honest.
I mean, they will be
the Sunday.
They'll be the ones that, you know, everyone's whacking in the Accas over the weekend. You know, like the good old day one of Cheltenham, Willie Mullins type stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
Of course.
There'll be one to save the bookies.
Of course, what? Yeah. The only time Annie Power ever fell in her life just happened to be that race when Paddy Power would have gone bankrupt, literally. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't, to be honest, I think Bedtime Story wins, even though I do really like Red Letter. I think she wins. I think Henri Matisse wins. I think Kyprios wins. I think, yeah, O'Brien on a Sunday, Curragh, printing money.
And we throw Porter Fortuna in as well, yeah?
Porter Fortuna, you have to throw in Augusto Dan.
You can. I don't know if I'm going to throw her into that bet on the Sunday, but those three for Sunday look a good treble.
If we're talking just about the Sunday, believing...
Yeah, well, I wouldn't consider him. I think he'll win, but I wouldn't consider him. I wouldn't be I'd be disappointed if any of those three lost. Put it to you like that. But believing, I could see reasons and why. I mean, he's going to be coming from behind in the Curragh, which is not ideal. Less so over sprint trips. It's easier to do it over sprint trips. But as I've said in the last few shows, O'Brien and more, the Curragh and even Leopardstown, they're just dynamite.
There's a fair chance that, I know that you completely disagree with this, but there's a fair chance that Augusto Dan just wins. Illinois wins the St. Ledger. Maybe Grosvenor Square, maybe Jan Bruegel, but he's going to win that.
Oh, yeah, no, it's possible, of course.
Bernard Shaw, I could be overthinking this. Maybe Delacroix just goes and crushes everything, and you're right about Acapulco Bay, Frank in the Forum. We didn't talk about Diego Velasquez. He was going to go to America, but he's going to be a strong favourite for the mile race.
Well, just touching back on Acapulco Bay, he was well odds on, and he kind of, he was workmanlike. So
I don't think he liked making the running.
Yeah. But he's another classy horse that O'Brien's have to look forward to. So
yeah, very much so. But the point is, he franked the form. Like he did come out and win.
Well,
so
he didn't let it down anyway. Yeah.
But I think they'll win that race anyway. It's going to be him or Bernard Shaw. I'm pretty sure they'll win it. Bedtime Story wins. Henri Matisse wins. Kyprios wins. So
Jeff is in for caning.
Jeff, I'm on the app right now, all right? And if you throw in George's horse as well, the eightfold. This is why Jeff loves this stuff, because it's complete fantasy stuff, and like this kind of stuff rarely happens, except for last week when somebody did a a Heinz.
Was that you, Emmet?
It wasn't me, unfortunately. For 31 quid and took over 30k of Jeff's money. A £1.38 accumulator and a 25 pence each way Heinz at Casherick, and they won over £31,000.
No.
So this ACCA on Augusto Dan, Illinois, Bernard Shaw, Diego Velasquez, Believing, Bedtime Story, Henri Matisse, and Kyprios, with no hurdles for a horse to fall at the last. A fiver ACCA pays €12,000. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
and don't forget the TriCast, the 169 TriCast.
2K. 2K back for the TriCast. What a 14 bags made. Yeah. All right, what's the best bet of the weekend for Andy Newton?
The best bet, I'm going in the Matron Stakes. The favourite's going to win this, Porta Fortuna. It's the most reliable in the race, and it will take this. It's the nap of the week. There's no big one this week like last week with Kind of Blue, just getting chinned on the line, 14-1 nap. But, you know, we did say each way. This one's going to be a bit more like sort of 5-4, but I think the favourite's going to win that one, Emmet.
Okay, I'm liking it. Peter Michael, who is the nap of the weekend for you?
Oh, I have a lot of fancies this weekend, Emmet, so hopefully a lot of people will be coming over to the Twitter's, the X site there, to come and have a look. I'm expecting a good weekend of making money, hopefully. The last few days haven't gone great for my followers, but we always end up on top 90% of the month so far. Do you know what? I could choose one of 4 or 5, but just to make it interesting, I'm going to go with economics.
Why? Why would you do that?
He wins. The draw is crucial. I know it sounds stupid that the widest draw of all is what he needs, but that sealed it for me. I think I just think he's going to win. I really think he's.
I'm going to do you a favor. What are the other 4 horses you like for the weekend?
Oh well, there's loads. I mean, I was going to put up Al Bashir at a price again. I put him up. Well, I didn't. I put him up as a next best, I think, 2 weeks ago. But the draw, Andy's made a point about the draw, and the pace of the race is kind of on the other side. So I don't know if they're going to split up or if it's going to be one group. But I'll be putting him up and be pumping him. But yeah, look, I could go for Bedtime Story. I could go for Kyprios. I could go for Henry Matisse. All of them should win. But I'm going to add a bit of spice and go for a horse that you both think has no chance at economics.
Okay.
Like it.
I mean, you must hate money. I might have overthought this, but I think the form of that debut for Bernard Shaw is just too red hot. He was really, really good in Dundalk the other day. I think he'll beat the stable companion Delacroix. But that's just a win-only bet, and he's a 3-1 shot. You might get bigger on the day. Maybe punters will just look at it and go, Jessica's horse has beat these 2 already. Ryan's on Delacroix. Maybe he'll go out to 4s. Strike.
I think he will get bigger. I think he will, yeah.
He should do. That's a guaranteed price job on the Saturday in a single. So I like him an awful lot. But the nap of the weekend is Auguste Rodin just fucking wins. What are you doing, man?
We'll see, Emmet.
Sorry to the children who are in the background. Obviously, don't swear. You're live on Channel 4. Please don't swear. Yeah,
and don't gamble.
Gamble responsibly, at least, anyway.
You're not allowed to gamble responsibly, lads. If you win, get out of here. You're not allowed. Only with Jeff. Jeff's the only one.
Of course, yes, of course. So we always promote responsible play and all that nonsense. Auguste Rodin. Good night and good luck.
Economic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking this down next week. All right, that's it. From Andy Newton, Peter Michael, and me, Emmet Kennedy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Final Furlong podcast as much as we've enjoyed recording it. We will talk to you again very, very soon. Best of luck for the Doncaster St. Leger meeting and Irish Champions Festival. Hopefully it's going to be a cracker, and hopefully we've got a gravy train load of winners for you. From all of us, we'll talk to you again soon. Look after yourself and each other. God bless. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp Therapy Online. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never skip leg day or therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you've no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. If you've ever been in therapy, then like me, you know how beneficial it can be. But it's not just for those who've experienced major trauma. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and setting boundaries. Therapy empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a registered therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. With almost 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise. Visit betterhelp.com/furlong today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/furlong. This is a paid advertisement by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/furlong to get 10% off your first month and get on your way to being your best self. The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Join the excitement and sign up to Jeff Banks online now to get 10% off any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500 at jeffbanks.bet.